Play ball! Blue 22!
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
There we go. Now you can hear me. We are back. It is a Monday morning at October 18th. We are following a kind of a good weekend of, sports, good weekend of new movies coming out. I mean, obviously No Time to Die came out 2 weeks ago, but Halloween Kills came out. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. We have all sorts of topics that we were going to touch on in a short period of time because we got to end by 10:15 today. So that gives us about an hour. So let's just dive right into it. I am one of your hosts. I am Shane Moore. You can find me on Twitter at Einhornisfinkel.
I'm the Bry Man. You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And we have some NFL to talk about, NFL Week 6 recap. We also have our Week 7 picks that are coming up. We will touch on those. The typical Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. We dig our game of the week. We keep a tally of our picks throughout the year and see who comes out on top. I think the Bry Man won last year pretty handily. I think he pretty much beat me down by week 13 or 14, and I couldn't catch up. I was he was letting me pick extra picks, and even though I had some good weeks, I still couldn't catch up because he was just on point. This year, it's much tighter. This year, it's much tighter. As of right now, the total is I am 16-2, and the Bry Man's 13-5. 13-5 is nothing to scoff at. He's still having a very solid year. But I just so happen to be on fire early on in the year. And I do have a bit of a head scratcher maybe to some people in my picks coming this week. So, all right. Anyway, let's get into our quick recap. Bry Man has some a quick little. He might be a little upset because I don't know. They went all the way. Didn't they go play in England this week? Your Miami Dolphins?
Hey, we're in London.
Yeah, and things didn't go. Tua played, so that was good. But
he was a bright spot.
We'll put a but on there.
It's just a big butt. It's a big chunk of ass. Is really what it is. Yeah. Listen, I real quick for Dolphin fans. Yesterday in London, you had the national stage. We had it all to ourselves. A chance for the Dolphins to go out and, listen, not to prove that they were a good team. That was not going to happen. You were not going to prove you were a good team against an 0-5 Jaguars team. But what you at least had a chance to do is go out again on this stage, no other competition, no other games going on at the same time, and to at least try to salvage something, some semblance of positivity from this season. And the Dolphins did exactly what probably a lot of Dolphin fans thought they would do. They went into London and they laid a big fat egg. I mean, they didn't score a goose egg. They put 20 points on the board, but they were uninspired as usual. They got up early, they got up by 10, and of course, they end up giving up 2 straight scores. At that point, most Dolphin fans know the game is over, even though they came back and actually put, some points on the board and actually took the lead again. They gave up this ridiculous field goal, which you still couldn't figure how it went through, this 54, 56 yarder from this kid. It just barely sneaks in the lower crossbar of the right upright. And, at that point, the game is tied. You're like, there's no way they're winning this game. And sure enough, they lost. Listen, all I can tell you, Dolphin fans, is we have officially reached rock bottom. It does not get lower than this. I mean, they could lose the rest of the games this year and it won't matter. I mean, I think we're all numb at this point. To me, there are only really 3 things this team can do right now to at least start to right the ship. And I'm not seeing any evidence that it's going to happen. I haven't heard anything. I don't think anyone has seen anything this morning. I keep hitting refresh on Twitter and the news is just not coming. But there are 3 things that need to happen. and they're not going to happen today, probably not even this week, but they need to happen by the end of the season, regardless of the outcome, unless this team just decides, hey, we're just going to win, we're just going to win out. Yeah, we're going to go 11-6 or we're going to go 12-5. Okay. Well, barring that miracle, there's 3 things that need to be done. 2 of them can be accomplished very easily. One of them is essentially impossible. Number 1, fire Chris Grier. That's the guy who, shops for all the groceries. And let's be honest, he's not doing a good job. He's
not what
he's
you
going
want.
He's going into the grocery store and he's buying stuff that's all expired. He's just no good. He's not a good general manager. And he's had his fingerprints on this team for a few years now, and it's just not working. It looked like they were headed in the right direction after last year, and now it has completely collapsed because this team looks completely uninspired. They don't look interested. They try to say a lot of the right things after games, like Jerome Baker is like, we're a good team. We're going to be a good team. We're going to right the ship. You'll see. Yeah, Jerome, listen, I like you. You're a nice little player, but you're full of shit, and you know it. This team is not going to come back. This team is not going to rebound from this. There's just no way. I mean, honestly, I struggle to even see a win on this schedule, and they still have 2 games against the Jets and a game against the Texans to play. And I'm struggling to see how they're going to win those games, to be really, really honest. You can't go in against an 0-5 Jags team that had lost 20 straight games and tell me, yeah, we really got a good chance against the Jets and the Texans. No, you really don't. I mean, maybe you'll be in the game, but ultimately the outcome will probably be very similar to yesterday. So step 1, fire Chris Grier. Step 2, fire Brian Flores. You need to clean house. This has to be a complete house cleaning. Stephen Ross is 81 years old. He's closer to death than he is to anything else. It's time for him to make the moves that need to be made. And if you want any chance, old man, of seeing a Super Bowl in your lifetime, you need to start by cleaning house. And I know that's not ideal because that resets the clock in a lot of ways, but what choice do you have? The good news is I do think you have the quarterback. Tua showed me plenty yesterday. Still threw for 300 yards, had a 90+ quarterback rating, completed 70% of his passes, had 1 terrible interception. Can't even deny it. I don't know who he was throwing to. I think even in his postgame, he was like, yeah, I really fucked that one up. I mean, I don't even think he knew who he was throwing to. But he had 2 touchdowns, and he gave them a chance. But you know what? Brian Flores, who I have really fallen out of favor with at this point, on 4th and 1, 2 things. 1, if you're going to run the ball, please don't run the ball out of shotgun. That's just so stupid. You're giving yourself an extra 5 yards on top of the 1 that you need to gain. I just don't understand that. Don't go under center. There's just no need to run out of the shotgun. And the other thing here, he did not give the ball. He did not put the ball into his hands. And you know what? On 4th and 1, you got to put the ball in your quarterback's hands. QB1. Put the ball in his hands. Let him win the game for you there. Took it out of his hands. Ran the ball with Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown could not get the 1 yard that he needed. So, to me, Flo's got to go. It's just that simple. And then number 3, and here's the one that's basically impossible to happen. Build a new stadium that is not atop an Indian burial ground. Because you know what? I am convinced that in my lifetime, even if I live till I'm 90, if they're still in that same stadium, they're never going to win a Super Bowl. That is the worst karma you could possibly have. To have a stadium built on top of an Indian burial ground. I mean, holy shit. Like, I know it's been there for a while, but my God, that doesn't make it any less bizarre that actually happened. Like, what was the conversation like between the architect and the ownership there when that all went down? But like, does the architect come into the room and be like, hey, listen, turns out we're building this stadium on like old Indian burial grounds. Like, do you want to go with that? Like, we could move these plans like just across the street and we'll be fine. What does ownership say? Like, well, is it going to cost me anything to like scrap the plans and redo new ones for something different across the stadium? Well, not really. I mean, maybe just a few grand because, we got to, there's just some different specs that go with being across the street. But yeah, no, it won't cost that much. You know what? Fuck it. Who cares? They're just dead Indians, right? What's it going to matter? What are they going to do? Come back and haunt us? I just, like, I would love to know what that conversation was like. Like, yeah, of course we're not going to build a stadium on top of Indian burial ground. Forget about the superstitious bad karma of it. How about just that's really fucking inappropriate? Anyways, I don't know. Where Hard Rock Stadium is located is actually the least of the Dolphins' problems. But it is time. It's time for them to blow this up, and it's time for them to hit the reset button again. Again, the good news is, based on what I saw yesterday and what I have seen from Tua in his limited starts, I am still convinced he can be the guy. I just think he needs the right. I think he needs the right protection. I think he needs the right weapons around him. He absolutely needs a quality running back. I'm sorry. I know there are Dolphin fans who like Myles Gaskin, and he's a nice little player. He's a complimentary RB2, but he should not be RB1. The guy in Pittsburgh last night, Najee Harris, that should have been RB1. But, hey, we fucked that up too, so what else is new? But listen, if you're a Dolphin fan, there's no end in sight, man. There really isn't. This misery is going to continue for a long, long time. And unfortunately, I think Tua is going to end up elsewhere. I don't know if he's going to get traded or they'll just move on from him at some point. But eventually, he's going to be gone. He'll have success somewhere else because some coaching staff and some general manager will know how to put the proper team around him. So yeah, Dolphin fans, we've hit rock bottom. It's official. And I know that the worst feeling more than anything is the indifference and the numbness that you have. That you're sitting there watching that game with as straight a face as I have right now on my ugly mug, with this look on my face. This is how you were kind of looking at the TV yesterday. And you're numb to it. You're beat up. We've been knocked down so many times. This team has done it to us so many times, and they're going to keep doing it. So please don't go into this coming Sunday and think, well, here's where it starts to turn around. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So.
All right.
Fins up. I guess. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Hey, but the silver lining was the whole Phil Mickelson interaction yesterday.
Yes, which I actually.
What a nice pick-me-up that was.
Well, just because you just mentioned that, I actually did grab that photo. I can actually put it on the screen, and just give me 1 second, and I can get it on the screen. But so you tweeted at Phil, and
I actually did not.
You didn't.
It.
You didn't. Yeah, not like.
I didn't Yeah.
Yeah, you hashtagged him, right?
No, I didn't even do that. I
Really?
think he did what, I think he just like vanity searched himself, like maybe he was just.
Well, he likes to be in the public eye, so.
He does. No, he does. He's a big interaction kind of guy. So I wouldn't sit there and say, oh, geez, Phil just loves himself. He was just, looking up his name on Twitter randomly. I mean, maybe he was, and maybe he does love himself, but you know what? Who cares? It was a nice pick me up for me. That's all I know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a pretty cool thing. It was. Let me see if I have it right here. I can put it on the screen for you real quick. If I can figure out how to freaking save this thing. All right. And put it
What was funny about it is that I told my wife about it yesterday, and my wife could not care less about sports. But I basically I didn't read the exact tweet, but I basically gave her the gist of it, and I told her, I was like, oh yeah, I said, and then Phil Mickelson responded and he said this, and she's like, oh, she's like, that must have made you feel better. I'm like, it did.
For those that are just kind of listening in the background, Brian wrote, I'm in the biggest drought of my life when it comes to sports. Yankees, Dolphins, Spurs, Blackhawks, FSU football, UConn basketball. It's all trash. Thank God for Phil Mickelson earlier this year. Sad that a 50-plus-year-old golfer is my only saving grace. God hates me. And then Phil Mickelson responds, he might, but I don't. Winky face.
With the wink.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was exactly what I needed.
That is a perfect response too. That's like.
Yeah, it really is.
He is top notch because he loves money. You know, he really loves money. Like, he loves playing golf, but he loves playing golf because it makes him lots of money. Yeah, and now they have incentives for these golfers to be online and doing YouTube channels and doing Twitter accounts and doing all that stuff to kind of promote the game of golf. Yeah. And he's just like, I'm going to go, I want that money. I want that extra money, you know? So, and he's like, I can do this stuff. He does the fireside chats.
Does he do cameo? He must do cameos. He must have like a Cameo account.
I don't know.
I'd be shocked if he didn't.
I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of like, that's busy. That's like, you could
be.
You would be. Yeah. He would have to like do something outrageous, like $5,000 or something like that. Like, because he would be way too busy. Yeah. That he would be getting cameos left and right. These fireside chats and all this, like him responding to your Twitter, like tweet where you didn't even hashtag him or like anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that's tremendous.
Yeah. It was nice. It really was.
So
and then I responded with "I love you, Phil" in all caps, and he actually liked that.
He did.
Well. So yeah. So it was kind of a double dose of Phil yesterday.
Yeah, that's good. Can't have more than you got to have more than one dose of Phil. He's just great, and he actually just coming off a win too, another Senior Tour win. He won three. He's third out of four.
Maybe he was in a good mood.
Yeah, well, he should be in a good mood.
I know.
Dude's a winner.
Would be if I were him too.
Dude's a winner. All right. So anyway, let's get into our next week picks. Like last week, we both went 3-1, I believe. And this coming week, we will dive in to. Oh, we didn't really touch on last week that much, so we can talk about it briefly. Last week's picks were Monday Night Football, Colts, Ravens. We both had the Ravens winning. I had them 30-20. You had 34-20. The score was 31-25. That's pretty close. Thursday Night Football was Bucks, Eagles. We both had the Bucks winning. I had 35-18. You had 38-17. It was 28-22. It was a lot closer. The Eagles did do a good job keeping it close. You know,
but like Jalen Hurts looked terrible.
He is terrible, but like he can do enough to kind of keep you in games. Yeah, kind of.
Again,
their defense is good. Their defense is just good.
See, yeah, because I see that my thing is I try to be very careful here because I defend Tua as much as I do with his limited body of work and still think that he can be a franchise quarterback. I can't sit here and bury somebody like Jalen Hurts either. Like there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah,
you know,
there's some people that just play aggressive, and that typically doesn't play out well in the NFL.
Again, the problem with the NFL right now is that there is way too much impatience with quarterbacks, with rookie quarterbacks.
And that's all you can. That started with Patrick Mahomes, and there are not many other quarterbacks in the league that are like him.
Even Mahomes sat for a year though. Mm-hmm. Even he sat. Rodgers, the great Aaron Rodgers, sat for a year.
Right. There's that, but I mean, just like the impatience as being a quarterback, like they just take long shots all the time, and most of the time they're getting picked. You know, and it's one of those things that it's a, risk reward, but does the risk actually outweigh the reward or vice versa? Like it's one of those things and I think a lot of these young quarterbacks think that they can make the throws that Patrick Mahomes can, that Aaron Rodgers can, where no, they can't. They can make those throws because they are the elite. And like Josh Allen, he was having a hard time making those throws the first couple years in the league.
Right.
And you know what? As time went on, he got a little better. He's getting better at that, but he's not like just chucking it up for people. But that's what Hurts is doing. That's what Jalen Hurts is doing.
That's what bothers me though, especially about like Dolphin fans who have already made up their mind. They had made up their minds about Tua within a handful of games, much less the fact that he still only played 12 games, by the way. And nobody wants to hear the Josh Allen thing. Like, well, it took Josh Allen 3 years. Oh, I don't want to hear that. He's not Josh Allen. Well, no, I know he's not Josh Allen, but the point, you're missing the point entirely there is that these quarterbacks, they need some time to marinate. I mean, it's not like this. I'm sorry, that is not. I mean, how can you
Tua's not really. You can't compare him to like Josh Allen or like Lamar Jackson. Like even Lamar Jackson took him a little while to kind of really turn into what he is. And I don't even think Lamar Jackson's that as good as
I still
he.
think Lamar Jackson's he's elite. He's
I don't think
he's
so.
a top 5 or 6 quarterback in my opinion.
I don't think so. I think he's still too inaccurate.
If you're watching him, if you're watching him, I watch him a lot because
he had a streak yesterday or the other day, the other game where he actually was on point, but that's too inconsistent. The game before that, he was all over the fucking place.
I'm watching him a lot this season. He has worked on his accuracy.
He's good.
He's way better.
I just don't think he's going to be the MVP candidate every year.
One of his biggest problems is his top receiver, Marquise Brown, couldn't catch a fucking cold. That guy drops so many passes that are put in his bread.
You could make an argument that Andrews is actually his top receiver.
No. Andrews actually no. Andrews is top target. Yeah. His top receiver is Marquise Brown.
Yeah, but that
guy couldn't. I swear he couldn't catch COVID at a fucking Trump rally. Okay, like that is how bad Marquise Brown is. Yeah. Even yesterday he dropped another touchdown pass. In a couple of games ago earlier this season, he dropped 2 touchdown passes that were right on point, right in the hands. I was just like, oh my God. And of course, since Lamar is my quarterback, I'm like, this is really annoying, because like in that.
See, I couldn't take him as a quarterback in the league.
Oh, I love him, but just because he's a dual threat.
I know, but he
puts up big numbers. He's a great fantasy.
He is. All I see with him is he's going to be hurt. He's going to get hurt. And he's not accurate enough for me to like, and even like a lot of there was a couple weeks in a row where he was making throws and they were catching the ball, but they was like thrown way behind them, thrown way over their head. And they kind of made an amazing catch. Like and that happens a lot for me. And that's what I see. And I know it's the unpopular opinion and I'm fine with taking that stance. I also am not a big fan of Dak. I think Dak is a bottom half of the league quarterback. He just happens to be on a really good team. And that
we're gonna agree to disagree on that one too, because after what I saw last night and what I've seen lately of Dak, he's worked his way into like near top 10 for me. He's close.
Got 2.
If he's not there already.
He's got 2 1 receivers. He's got 2 top
Cooper
receivers.
And Lamb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 2 number 1s. He's got a top 5 running back. He's got top 5 offensive line. Like that's the thing. Like you take some of that stuff out, he reverts back to being bottom half. Like you can get elevated by your team. Like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was great that one year where he had all those weapons.
Why are you so adverse to a team putting in all the right pieces to help elevate the quarterback? Shouldn't that
because
be
it's a good team. It's not a good quarterback.
Does? Yeah, but don't you want a good team? I don't care about a good quarterback.
I don't care about the team. I'm talking about a quarterback.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't care about the team.
I don't care about I care about how the quarterback is.
What does that mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean? You don't care about the team?
If you put Tua on the Cowboys, he'd have the same record.
Good. Oh my God, I would love that.
And Tua's not a top half of the league quarterback. He's a bottom half of the league quarterback. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about the Cowboys. I care about Dak. Dak is a bottom half of the league quarterback.
Agree to disagree.
You put Matt Ryan on that team.
Agree to fucking disagree. Dak Prescott, whether you want to believe it or not, the facts show that he's a top 10 quarterback.
Not when he doesn't have all those weapons.
This was going to happen today because I know you don't like Dak and it's the weirdest fucking thing. The guy is a top 10 quarterback. You need to fucking accept it.
How?
Just fucking accept it. Look at the body of work. Look at the eye test. He passes the eye test.
What's not the eye test? Not for me.
He led the team to another win last night. They're 5-1. They're an elite team.
Who'd they play?
The guy is on top of the league.
Who'd they play?
What do you mean? They played a good Patriot defense. The Patriots are not nearly as bad as their record dictates. Also, every time you go into Foxborough, you're not just playing the Patriots, you're playing the fucking referees too. So Dak went in there and he beat 2 teams. He beat Team Zebra and he beat Team Belichick. Sorry, the guy's elite. Deal with it.
I disagree.
Everybody who hates Dak, fucking deal with it. The guy's good.
I disagree.
Good.
Disagree. Agree to disagree.
I mean, I'll give you if you want to say, well, 2 is in the bottom half. Yeah,
so was Jared Goff a top quarterback in the league when he had Gurley and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp and all these weapons? Was he a top quarterback? Because he performed like it.
He was not a top half, but I think Dak is.
He was an MVP candidate.
I think Dak is way better than he is, though. He put up big numbers. Don't get me wrong. But again, that's the point, though. The team surrounding him puts him in a great spot to succeed. So at the moment, if you had asked me that question of Jared Goff, the answer would have been yes, because the team surrounding him helped elevate him. Now, if you I'm not saying that Dak wouldn't be, phenomenal on, or I'm not saying he wouldn't be bad on like a worse team that didn't have the weapons, but I'm sorry, I can't judge him outside of the vacuum that he's currently in. I would need to actually see it. If put him with the Redskins, and then maybe I could give you a different assessment. But the bottom line is, I can only assess the guy based on what I see.
Is Dak better? Is Dak better than Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Is he better than Lamar Jackson?
I would say no.
Is he better than Josh Allen?
No.
Better than Russell Wilson?
No.
Is he better than Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, no.
Tom Brady?
No.
Matthew Stafford?
That's where you're starting to get closer. I would still probably take Stafford over him.
Okay, so now we're at what?
Is that 9 or 8?
7 or 8?
I said he was top 10. So
yeah.
I don't know who else you're going to tell me, but I'm probably not going to put in
Herbert
higher. I'll give you Herbert. Although Herbert is, I don't know. See, Herbert showed you yesterday, though. Not so sure. Because I thought Herbert would go in and win that game yesterday. They got trounced by the Ravens. Trounced, and he did not look good. He didn't look special, I'll tell you that.
Right. So, he's
in there. I said top 10. I didn't say top 5. I said he was top 10.
Right.
I stick by that. I think maybe he's at the bottom end of that, but I still think, would you take a top 10? I'd take a top 10 quarterback in the league any day.
Well, I have a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Dolphins haven't had one of those in 20 years. So I would take one.
So there's just a lot of quarterbacks out there that I would say he's on par with Matt Ryan. Because when Matt Ryan had all those weapons, he also did the same thing.
I mean, if you're measuring like prime Matt Ryan versus, I'm sorry,
Well, yeah, because Matt Ryan's old now. He's getting older. And he doesn't have an offensive line. Doesn't have any weapons. Like he's having a hard time.
I would say Dak is 10. He's probably 10. I mean, Kyler Murray's somewhere in there too, obviously. So, but if you're gonna ask me between like Dak and Baker Mayfield, Dak.
Well, Baker's not a top.
Dak
half
and Ben
of the league.
Roethlisberger, Dak and Zach Wilson.
Well, you got Joe Burrow.
Even right now, as much as I like Burrow, I'd have to lean towards Dak on that one, just based on the body of work.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good talent. Obviously, Carson Wentz isn't up there right now.
No.
A few years ago, you might have been able to make a case before
Jimmy
he got that injured.
Or Trey Lance or whatever.
No.
49ers quarterback. Anything that the Broncos have, Bridgewater or Drew Lock. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm taking Dak. I think Dak's a talented guy. I think he can put the ball where it needs to be too. He's not without talent. You got to watch. I watch enough Cowboys games. He's a talented dude. Guy can play. He could play before any of this too.
He made a lot of mistakes before this. A lot. Which is why they couldn't win.
I mean, are you going to say that like Troy Aikman shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because he had like the most
No, because he did it with the Chiefs too,
and because he
did it with a shitty Chiefs team.
He had Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman.
Yeah, no, I think you're talking Troy Aikman. I thought you said Joe Montana.
Troy Aikman.
I thought you said Joe Montana.
Troy Aikman. I mean, are we taking him out of the Hall of Fame because he had an elite line and like one of the greatest running backs?
No,
ever?
But I don't think you would ever consider him one of the greats, like greats.
I'd want him in a big spot. I can tell you that.
There's so.
Well, if you're comparing him to his contemporaries,
right.
No. But
even in that era, there were some. Yes, he was a top 10 quarterback, but because he proved it year in, year out.
My point with quarterbacks in general is that they all need help.
Yeah.
They all need weapons. They all need, whether it's a line, whether it's receivers, whether it's a running back, they all need support. No quarterback has ever, on his or her own, done it single-handedly.
Tom Brady kind of did. Unfortunately. He elevated everybody.
Again.
His offensive teams sometimes in those Super Bowl winning years, I mean, they I know their teammates,
And
they would always
they
leave
did
and then
have
they
good
would do
defense.
nothing.
But you're also talking about a guy. You're talking about like
Yes.
maybe a unicorn.
Yes. But like Aaron Rodgers, I feel is the same way. Like he's never had a great offensive line. Like he did for a little while, but even when he has a bad offensive line, Russell Wilson has a bad offensive line.
Aaron Rodgers have a good offensive line now.
Right.
And
Yeah. But like he hasn't always had it.
He's got a top 10 back. And
Has
he's got
to
the best
scramble.
receiver in
Like
football
Patrick
right
Mahomes, all these guys, like they can get out, make plays happen. And that's what makes them
Mahomes
elite.
is, again, such a great example of a guy who, when he doesn't have an offensive line, looks very mortal.
Yeah.
And I still think Patrick Mahomes is a top 5 quarterback because he is.
Well, yes,
because he can do
Patrick
special
Mahomes
things with
is.
the football.
Well, there's not many people that can do
But that
what
was
he
a
does.
man on the run last year in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, because that
And
offensive line was makeshift. It
was-
might as
yeah,
well
it
have
was-
been me,
it was
you, and
dismantled.
3 of our best friends.
It
So
was dismantled. All right, so
that just goes to show you, though.
So
You
we
need a
got-
supporting cast.
we went into, then we had we did Thursday Night Football, right? Because did I talk about that yet? Whereas Bucks versus Eagles, 35-18. You had 38-17. Score was 28-22. We talked about that real quick. Eagles defense is really good. Seahawks versus Steelers was a Sunday Night Football. There was score was 23-20. I had 24-21. You had 24-16. We were both really close to that one as well. And then we had the game of the week, which was the Chargers versus the Ravens, and that did not live up to the hype. Justin Herbert, I was weird because he was moving the ball, but they just could not get the ball in the end zone, and it was a struggle. But the Ravens
defense showed up.
The Ravens defense was there. They were kind of flying all over the field, and whenever they looked like the Chargers were going to make a push, they just stepped up and, slapped the ball out of the air or, did something, get an interception. They did something big.
Him very well.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson had probably, in my opinion, I think this might have been his best game of the year. Just as far as being accurate and just dismantling the other team. That's what he did he never let off the gas.
Well, they ran the ball well, though, too.
Yeah.
He actually didn't have a great stat game.
No, but that's what I mean. You don't have to have a great stat game to still be in command.
They ran the ball.
And
they have a good,
Lev
running
Bell,
back committee.
Murray, and Devontae Freeman. Devontae, I think, has 2 touchdowns. Bell had a touchdown. Murray had a touchdown.
Yep.
And that's just what, if you notice that you can get the ball in the end zone, and it has to be, and that's what a good quarterback will do. And I think that was a very big game for him.
They blew them out, and Lamar Jackson did not have a stat pack kind of game. So that tells you a lot about the defense and the running game. The Ravens are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they're
team.
They are a good team, especially if they can elevate their defense. If they can elevate their defense and have some solid game plans like that going forward, that's going to be tough. All right, so then we have they lost 34-6. So the Chargers did. We both had the Chargers. I had 30-27. You had 31-27. So we both had a closer game, and we both had the Chargers coming out on top. Did not work out that way.
I think we were all feeling the Chargers after what they did the last couple of weeks. And
I was saying I kind of needed to see more because I think we hadn't seen the Chargers. Or no, there was something going on with our last one. Like I wanted to see a little bit more from the Chargers. I think mainly their defense, just to see if they could kind of keep an eye on Lamar, but it just didn't work out. That Lamar just picked them apart mentally, which is great. All right, so this week, tonight, Monday Night Football, Bills versus Titans. I have this game as not a blowout. Because I do think that the one way that you can kind of really beat the Bills is on the ground. You can get them by running the ball. Now, passing the ball, on the other hand, this could be a really tough game for Tannehill because I would be very, if he throws for over 200 yards, they're winning this game. The Titans will win this game, but I don't see him throwing for over 200 yards. I see him probably throwing for something like doing one of those games that he had last year where it was like 130, maybe a touchdown, maybe a pick, but Derrick Henry goes for like 180. Because if you're going to beat the Bills, that's the way you're going to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Derrick Henry has a huge game and eats up a lot of the clock, but the Bills still could come out on top and just, kind of pick them apart through the air, because that is how you can beat the Titans. And I see that Josh Allen having a big game, maybe throwing for like 350, but not having like 45 attempts, having like 30 attempts and just connecting on like 22 and having like, a huge yardage per catch. And I have it 30-24. Bills.
Yeah. I'd like to believe that the Titans, well, they can be competitive in this game. The Titans' formula for winning is pretty simple. Control the ball, control the clock with Derrick Henry, pound, wear down a defense. And then, then you let the play action take over, because Ryan Tannehill is one of the top, if not the top play action quarterbacks in the league. But of course that's all made possible because he has Derrick Henry. That's what makes play action good, is when you actually have the threat of it. Like, that's the one thing with the Dolphins. They run this play action all the time, but they don't really have the threat of a real running back. I'm sorry. No offense, Myles Gaskin. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, Myles Gaskin. No, I mean, it's true though. But like, Derrick Henry is that fucking guy. And Derrick Henry is a again, I've said it before, is a boulder rolling downhill. But I just, at this point, this is the Bills world and we're just all living in it. So, as much as I'd like to believe that this will be a competitive game, because the Titans have the right formula to make it a competitive game, I just think that the way the Bills are, especially playing on defense, they still haven't completely found it on offense yet, which is really scary. I don't like the matchup for anybody playing the Bills right now. I really don't.
They're a very well-rounded team.
I'm gonna go like 32-17 here. Buffalo. It's just, I mean, maybe it'll be a little closer than that score indicates. Like it could just be one of those ones where it gets away a little bit later. But I can't see it. I can't see it for Tennessee. I'd love to see Tennessee win this game, but I can't. It's not there. Sorry.
All right. So
sorry, Titans fans.
Then we'll get into the Thursday night game, which is Denver versus Cleveland. You got the Broncos versus the Browns. Not a great game to that you would like. You don't think, oh, this is going to be a good game, but they are both 3-3. The Broncos have Melvin Gordon, who's been looking like Melvin Gordon of the past. He's been, playing much better, looking quicker.
Which sucks, because I would really like for fucking Javonte Williams to start getting the ball more.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and if he keeps playing the way he is.
I've had to use him in fantasy because of injuries and, now bye weeks.
Yeah. And then we have, the Cleveland Browns, who have a juggernaut of an offense that you would think, but Baker Mayfield, as you were just saying, with your boy, what was it? Was his name Gaskins? Is that what you said?
Myles Gaskin.
Yeah.
It's not.
He's not that guy. Baker Mayfield's not that guy, and you can tell because they don't really seem to really let him go, even with all the offensive weapons that he has and stuff like that. Don't really let him go.
He's that guy who can make a lot of commercials and is very marketable.
Kind of. He's not even that great at it. I don't. No, I watch it and I'm really like, he just kind of doesn't seem like he doesn't have the chops. With Patrick Mahomes and those, the Allstate commercial or whatever, the State Farm commercials, whatever he's doing, he does a good job in those. And you have also Aaron Rodgers is not great at it, but he's still good at it.
Aaron Rodgers is actually pretty funny. In
he is sometimes
commercial with the game show setup. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
He just looks so disinterested, but I think that's the point.
Yeah,
he's funny.
And so you have and he just doesn't seem that, but seems like they put so much money into it that they
force feed Baker Mayfield. To the public.
Which is too bad because it's not like he ever really has done much. But
if you were to ask me who would I rather have, Tua or Baker Mayfield, I would say Tua. I think the longer term. I've seen enough of Baker Mayfield, and the guy is surrounded by talent. Surrounded by talent. And don't get me wrong, he has his games. He puts up good numbers. He's a good quarterback. He's still a starting quarterback in this league for sure. I would take Tua over him, though. In the long term, if they could just – because I think Tua is one of those guys who will excel with the right setup around him.
Yeah.
And Baker has the right setup, and I think you've seen his peak, which is still good. I don't know if he could win, though. I don't know if he could win. As far as this game goes, though, this will be I think this is a bounce back game for the Browns. Although I think the game will be kind of close, just because the Browns are also a little bit banged up, especially after yesterday. I think Baker got knocked around a little bit. By the way, the Browns just got pasted yesterday by the now 6-0 Cardinals, who y'all better start taking for real, because that's a team.
Yeah,
that's a team that's not a joke anymore, because they do it on more. It's more than just Kyler Murray and Hopkins and that, and AJ Green and Chase Edmonds and that offensive show. That defense got some life in it. I think JJ Watt bringing some leadership there. I mean, JJ Watt's not an every down player anymore, but he's brought some elements to that defense that, they're just a very selfless group, and they're in it for the team. And that's just a good looking team right now. I mean, they're on a high. I think the Browns will bounce back in this game. I'm going to say it's close. I'll go 24-16 on this one. I think it'll be close, though.
You got the Browns?
But I got the Browns winning this one.
I have 24-18.
Okay.
All right. So then next up is the Sunday Night Football, which is another game that's not going to be great. The Colts versus the 49ers playing in San Fran. Two teams. I mean, I'm not really looking. So it's good to see T.Y. Hilton come back, although he did leave with an injury at the end of the game. I don't know how severe it is. I saw it late last night, and I don't think anything has come up yet about it. But so that's going to hurt them, because if that was he actually came out and he played very well. His first game back in a long time, and he played well, caught some balls, caught some deep balls, as they need that guy.
Yes.
And I think they really needed him to play against the 49ers, and they need him to be healthy. But since it's kind of up in the air, and I don't know if he's going to practice much this week due to whatever injury that he had, I have the 49ers winning this week, just because I think they do have a little bit better of a team. I think if Hilton plays and he's 100%, this could go either way. It really could, because you have a 2-4 Colts, 2-3 49ers. Kittle's out for, I mean, is he out for the year?
No, not the year. He's on IR, but he's out at least
six,
a few more games. Yeah, I think 6. So
it's going to be bad.
Which sucks. He was my tight end. But you know what? I picked up what's his name there, Schultz from the Cowboys, and he's done really well for me.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting 11, 12 points a game, which is fine.
Yeah, I was able to. So I had Kelsey, but I was able to pick up Dawson Knox early in the year as a backup tight end.
Well, now you can play both of them. You can play one of them as a flex.
I have Robinson.
I would flex Knox.
I have from the Jags, Robinson.
Oh, James Robinson.
Yeah, because he wasn't. I had him early.
Yeah.
Because I was going to use him as a backup, but then their running back went down. So
Etienne. Yeah.
So I lucked out. So he's my flex.
What's your score then for Niners Colts?
I have 24-20 Niners. They're basically because they're at home.
I've got 2017 Colts. I think the Colts go on the road and get this one.
Wow.
The Colts have just been playing a little bit better. I know they lost. The Colts played really tough. I mean, the Colts should have beat the Ravens, and the Ravens had to come back, and basically everything had to go right for them to complete that comeback, and it did. Mm-hmm. But the Colts were kind of in control of that game. Yeah. And I feel like they're getting a little bit better week by week. I mean, it started with beating the Dolphins, which in hindsight is not a big deal at all, but it got to start somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And they've just been playing a little bit better. I'm seeing little improvements. I think Wentz is he's starting to get a little healthier. I love them having T.Y. Hilton back. He's just such a he's such a safety valve for a guy like Wentz too. And I think
Taylor's a legit running back.
Yeah. He's an animal. So I think 2017 Colts.
All right. I have now we have the game of the week, or as some people call it. Oh wait, are you on? You're frozen. Yeah.
What a shock.
So, call him back, and then we'll get into the game of the week. There you are. You're back.
See, now the split screen is gone. I liked the split screen.
Sad.
I wonder how I can fix that.
I don't know. Let's not mess around with it too much right now, though. Get frozen again. All right, so we have the game of the week, which is the 4-2 Cincinnati Bengals versus the 5-1 Baltimore Ravens. This is a big game. This is a game where last week... What the heck just happened? What are you doing over there?
I don't know.
What? Did my back... What's going on over here?
Oh, my goodness.
Do you see something?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but it just popped up with this weird, like...
we were like, there were stones behind. I don't know. We're in
the jungle or something.
I don't
in the
know
mountains.
where we were. Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Hold on. I'm gonna change that. Where is it? It's so much stuff.
It's under view.
All right. There we go. That should be. Why isn't it? Is it
trying
on
to
your
get my
end?
split
It's on your
screen
end.
back. Yeah, I did it on my end.
Oh, and now you're not even on the screen anymore.
Oh, that's different. I did something called together mode.
Yeah. Well, now we're not together on our live stream.
Oh. Well, just call me back again.
Yay!
Okay, I won't touch anything.
Thank you. All right, so Cincy versus Balti, and we have a big game. I think that this is a big game. You have the 4-2, 5-1. They're going. I think the Bengals are going into the Ravens. I think that Joe Burrow and his Bengals, Jamar Chase, everybody like that. I think that this is going to be a game. This is my shocker of the week. I really feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go into Baltimore, and I think that they are going to beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens have been hot, but they've been playing a lot. They have 3 games in 2.5 weeks. They have been playing well. They've been coming back. They've been, that last game was much easier on Lamar Jackson, but I do think that the Cincinnati's defense is solid. Their offense is solid. And I feel like this could sneak up on the Ravens. And this could, going in to a week where they have either been coming back and winning or just dominating. And I feel like this could just sneak up on them a little. And I think that this is going to be another one where Lamar Jackson's going to have to try and come back at the end. And I think he's going to get close, but I don't think he's going to come out with the dub. I think that you're going to see Burrow probably throw for some big yardage. I don't see the running game doing all that well. I think they're going to be solid, 50 to 75 yards, for Mixon or something like that. Nothing crazy. But I see Burrow throwing for 350 with 4 touchdowns. Cause I think that if you I think he's going to have a big game. And I think it's going to catch the Ravens by surprise. So I have 30-28 Cincinnati.
Okay.
The over-under is 47.5, and the Baltimore Ravens are favored by 6.5.
Okay. I'm on the other side of this.
Yep.
And this is good because maybe this will give me a chance to catch up to you if the Colts can win and if the Ravens can win, because I got the Ravens winning this one. We're gonna go with 34-28 on this one, and I think 34-27 actually. Excuse me.
All right.
34-27. Let's make it a 7-point win. Yeah, 34-27. I think the Bengals. I think there's gonna be a lot of moving the ball in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's gonna be a lot of up and down the field, both sides. I don't think defense is gonna be. I think defense will be at a premium in this game.
So the Bengals give up a decent amount of yards. They do not let people in the end zone though.
They're stingy. They're stingy at the goal line. I just
I believe they have a lot of picks.
I like what I'm seeing with the Ravens right now. They look to me to be pretty much firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to destroy the Chargers the way they did in a game where I thought the Chargers would win.
Yeah.
Forget about the Chargers getting blown out. I thought the Chargers would go into Baltimore and win. Now I'm sort of convinced. The Ravens have shown me.
Yeah.
It was a show me game, and they showed me. So,
All right.
yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens on this one.
Sweet. So those are our week 7 picks, and we will deal with Monday Night Football next Monday. We have, what else do we have to talk about? I think we just gotta get into our sorts, right?
Well,
You want to do a quick MLB recap?
Very quick.
Tim's and Plantier got fired for the Yanks.
Right. So the Yankees did the usual Yankee thing where they cut a couple of victims. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have gotten rid of Tim's, but let's be honest. Nothing is going to change with the Yankees. Very similar to the Dolphins, actually. Nothing will change with the Yankees until the head is cut off the snake, which means either Cashman and or Boone are going. Now, we all know Cashman's not going anywhere, so we can stop talking about that. But there's no reason not to get rid of Boone. There just isn't. And the Yankees had like the easiest out to not get rid of Boone. His contract is up. You don't even have to actually quote unquote fire him. Yeah. You just don't renew his contract.
Yeah, that would be good.
But the more this
I think you might see it to see who's available.
Yeah, I mean, I think which I believe that Cashman's probably discussing with Hal. Hal is not like his dad. Like Hal doesn't want to get rid of people, which is weird because again, this wouldn't even be considered a firing. This would just be considered we're not bringing him back. I mean, I know it's semantics, but it's not.
I guess it all depends on how much Boone wants.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't expect a raise. He shouldn't.
I mean, but he could say, "I've been in the playoffs, and
I won 300 plus games, and I've been in the playoffs, and I had, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, he's got a little bit of a leg to stand on in that sense, but if you're the Yankees, again,
and he could always say he won't, but he could always say, "This is your fault. You're the guys the one pulling the trigger."
I mean, Cashman is also to blame. It's not just Boone. Yeah. I mean, it's also Cashman's also to blame. I just hate like watching Boone get outmanaged a lot. And it seems like he gets outmanaged. Like every time he goes up against the Red Sox and Cora, like he just doesn't win big games against the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't like many of the moves that he does.
Anyways, though, to me, Boone's going to come back. I want Buck back, but I think we all know that's a pipe dream. That just doesn't fit with the Yankee. The Yankees like puppets, and Buck Showalter, there are no strings on him.
And plus, I don't know if Buck could do it for 5+ years or something like that. I don't know if he'd want to.
He could, I mean, you'd probably sign him for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean that's what you would do, but I don't know if you could get the most out of it by just doing 2 years. I mean, he could probably turn the team around, like, and get them a little bit more, I don't know, with fire under their ass a little bit. I just want them to have to respond to something different because I just don't see people. I can't see wanting to run through a brick wall for Aaron Boone. Yeah. And like that's the one thing I'll say about the Red Sox, regardless of what you think about Joey Cora, and I have a lot of thoughts about him, and they're mostly terrible. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Say whatever you want about the Red Sox, whatever their culture of cheating may or may not have been. The bottom line is that team will run through a wall for him. I'm frozen again, I think, aren't I? You are, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that team will run through a wall for him. And nobody's running through anything. I wouldn't run through a paper mache bag for Aaron Boone. So I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And then speaking of the Red Sox, so listen, let's just make this real quick. Let's just crown them. They're going to be world champions again. There's no doubt about it. They went into Houston. They split there. They might finish this series off in Fenway. Well, actually, I don't know. Is it 2-2-1-1-1? I can't remember what it is in the ALCS, or is it 2-3-2? I don't recall. But at any rate, this series is over. Boston's going to win, and it looks like the Braves are going to somehow beat the Dodgers, and the Red Sox are just going to steamroll the Braves. I mean, just steamroll the Braves. So buckle up, Yankee fans. If you are my age and you're a Yankee fan, the unthinkable has happened here, and that unthinkable thing is that the Red Sox are about to tie Yankee fans of my generation. They're going to tie you. You're going to be tied 5-5 with them. That is something that you would have never thought possible years ago, especially when Yankee fans were up 4-0.
3-game series in Fenway.
So that series might end in Fenway. It might end in Fenway. And I just I have no faith that the Astros can win that series. And it's weird. Like, it's fucking bizarre rooting for the Astros, by the way. It's horrifying. But I have no choice, but it's horrifying. There is no, like, lesser of two evils there. I mean, guess technically for me it's Houston, but Jesus, not really.
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's not the best like analogy. For
The what you want to happen is the Astros go to the World Series and then get swept.
and then lose. Well, I mean, just lose. I don't care if they get swept. Just lose. Yeah, like honestly, the best case scenario is either the Braves or the Dodgers winning. Neither one of those is incredibly appealing to me either, but significantly better than anything on the American League side.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you could just tell me the Red Sox don't win this year, I guess I don't care. Like I can live with literally any of those other three teams, just not Boston. I just don't want them. I don't want Red Sox fans to have caught up to Yankee fans for people of our age. That bothers the shit out of me.
All right.
Like, ugh, God, it's horrifying.
I'll call you right back.
Horrifying. Okay.
Boom. Ding, 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 ding. All right, we're back. Yeah. All right. Let's get into our. Yeah.
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
All right, we're going to sort it out today because we have the OFN with Ryan Reynolds, and we're going to touch on this real quick because we just don't have a lot of time. But let's see what we got here. All right. So OFN, there was lots of movies to talk about, lots of movies to list in here. I mean, there are so many good ones and like a few bad ones. I mean, there's, of course, Green Lantern, not great. But that could be your, so this OFN, Once, Forever, Never. It's the same thing as FMK, fuck, marry, kill, but we just do our own, which is Once, Forever, Never. On a desert island, this is what you got. You have 3 movies. You're only allowed to watch 2. One you're allowed to you have for a weekend. The other one you have forever. Yep. And the last one you have to throw in the ocean. Yep. Hopefully you don't kill any whales or dolphins or anything like that.
Right. It's illegal.
Yeah. So what we have here is what do you want to go first? You want to do Once, then Never, and then Forever? Or do you want to do Once, Forever, and then Never?
I want to do Never first.
Never first?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, well, let's start with the negative and work our way towards the positive.
All right, fine.
So let's go like NOF. How about that?
Okay.
Never, Once, Forever.
All right.
Not.
All right, so Never. I have one of the worst renditions of a comic book movie franchise ever. And it started off okay, but then went downhill real fast and then became basically like a meme. And that is X-Men Origins Wolverine. And that is where they basically turned Deadpool into a silent Deadpool and made him like have these swords out of his arms and all. And it was absolutely horrendous, especially since the way they started off the movie, like how they had, him in there and slicing the bullets and all that kind of stuff. Like it was tremendous. Like I was like, oh yeah, that's Deadpool. And of course they fixed that problem later on in life. But it took a long time. And especially after another bomb, which was the Green Lantern movie, they didn't really know if he'd be cast as another superhero ever again. Thankfully, they went that route because Ryan Reynolds is awesome. But yeah, I have X-Men Wolverine, the Origins. Because
hey, but at least in the first Deadpool, they cleaned up the timeline.
Yeah.
With, Deadpool coming and shooting Deadpool in the head.
Yeah, it's great. Good times.
Yeah, that was good. That was some good editing. Green Lantern, terrible, just awful. Just that movie, just shoot it to the moon. I mean, they also again another one of those ones that they cleaned up in Deadpool, where he shoots himself at the back of the head and he says, "Thank you, you're welcome, Canada." So no, bye Green Lantern.
See, I didn't hate that movie. I hated the ending of it, like the way that everything kind of transpired into
one good thing about that movie. Well, 2 good things. 1, when it ended, and 2, Blake Lively. Those are the good things about that movie, and I bet you Ryan Reynolds would agree with that.
Probably, and it's not a good movie. That's for sure.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, let's go with the one.
I went with a movie where I was like, he wasn't the lead because I don't want to. I want to make sure that this was not his fault. They made him silence Deadpool. This was not his fault because I love Ryan Reynolds.
That's a good way to go. I mean, we both do, but
yeah. He is.
Come on, the guy lives the perfect existence.
He's
It's
my
okay to
top
stay
3
cool,
favorite.
once.
Like he's my top 3 favorite actors. Like,
yeah, he's not there for me, but I love him.
oh, I love him. Absolutely.
It's fucking
love him.
hilarious.
Absolutely.
All right, who's your
love him.
once?
My once is a movie that I talk about with people all the time, and they all agree that it's an amazing movie, and they can't not watch it when it's on. And that is Just Friends.
It's good. It was tough for me to leave Just Friends out.
Yeah, there are so many.
It was very tough.
I mean, Van Wilder, I love that. It's that's everybody's introduction really to Ryan Reynolds and his stardom and his charisma.
Like if there had been a once A and a once B, like Just Friends would have been my once B.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's such a good movie, so fun.
That was the only hard decision I had to make.
So funny, such a good movie.
Yeah, my once is Van Wilder.
Yeah, Van Wilder's
It's
amazing.
just fucking great.
Yeah.
It's just fucking great. It's like he's so young too, but man, like right off the bat, and that was like when Tara Reid was hot still and not like weird looking.
Yeah.
It's just I'm sorry, the movie just stands up. It's still great.
I was shocked that came out in 2002.
It's an old movie.
But I thought if you told me it came out in 95, I would have believed you. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like I've been
I
watching that movie forever. Like,
Because you have.
Yeah.
You've been watching it for half your life.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's
my God.
That was my once.
Yeah. So, because I mean, you have all these movies like Van Wilder, Just Friends, The Proposal, Safe House, even a movie that we both like that was terribly received, Ripped, R.I.P.D. Like that's
I love R.I.P.D.
And like you have, obviously The Hitman's Bodyguard, Buried, Definitely Maybe, Waiting, Blade Trinity, The Croods 1 and 2.
If we had done the guilty pleasure, like if we had done a guilty pleasure Ryan Reynolds, R.I.P.D. would have been mine.
Yeah.
That's a total guilty pleasure movie.
I mean, there's so many, and like he's got so many movies in the pipeline right now that this list is going to probably change because he's working on a Clue movie.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Are they redoing Clue?
I think so,
I
yeah.
did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's in pre-production, I think.
Did they say who he's going to be?
I don't remember. I didn't look that closely.
Actually, if you think about Tim Curry's role,
Yeah, he could do that.
he could.
Yeah.
That would actually be really good for him. That actually would be the best role for him because that's the role with the most talking and the most interaction. And he's got the right wit for that because Tim Curry is hard to beat in that role.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie, I'm sorry, Clue is if you've
That's
never seen Clue,
that's a
that
good
movie's
movie.
a masterpiece.
It's a good movie.
It's a masterpiece.
It is.
It's based on a fucking board game. Don't get me wrong, a great board game, but a board game.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
If you've not seen Clue ever, wow, you have missed out. That cast is so great.
I still haven't seen Free Guy yet, and I really want to see that. So I just don't want to pay the
$20.
Yeah, right now. But I still might because I'm ending up buying it probably anyway.
I think you can buy it though. I think you can actually buy it. For 20,
because I'm gonna buy it. I was just waiting for it to go down a little bit because I'm cheap. But
when Voodoo has it for like $12.99, that's when I pounce.
Yeah. So there's the Red Notice, which is coming out soon with The Rock and Gal Gadot.
Yeah. That actually does look. That looks. I like the premise there.
Deadpool 3 is coming out. Like there's just they're all in. Like there's so many. There's the Adam Project, Spirited, where he does a musical with Will Ferrell. Like
that sounds funny.
Yeah. So there's.
All right, so we're on our Forever. Who you got?
Forever, for me. Why don't you go first? You go first. I don't want to do the same one. You're going to do Deadpool or Deadpool 2. You got to.
It's Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's Deadpool 2. I mean, it was Deadpool 2 is again, like you're talking about earlier, you could turn it on and the remote goes down. Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is, I think it's better than Deadpool 1. It's so quotable. I just love Josh Brolin as Cable too.
He was good.
That adds just like, because the banter and the back and forth between the two of them is just so great, especially because Cable's not a bad guy. He's just he's actually completely the opposite of a bad guy. He's more of an anti-hero, I guess, more than anything. But that's what Deadpool is too. They're really both two anti-heroes. Just the whole. Like everything with Deadpool, like when they're recruiting all the people to be an X-Force, and then like all the X-Force people die, and it's just like, it's just so good. There's so many hilarious moments in Deadpool 2. Like it's so hard to describe how many there are, and And again, this is like, it's so weird. Like, you'd think this would be a hard choice with Ryan Reynolds movies, especially for the Forever one. But for me, this one was like a slam dunk. Like, I love Deadpool 2. And I love Deadpool. But Deadpool 2 is just, to me, Deadpool 2 is like on its own. It's on its own mountaintop.
All right.
It's just a tremendous, hilarious, great action-packed movie from like start to finish. There's like no lull in it either, which is great.
Yeah. So this was very difficult for me too. Like I couldn't pick between one or two. And the one I like to watch more often is Deadpool 2. And that's mainly because of Josh Brolin. And because in the first one, what's the guy's name? That was I can't remember what his name is, but
is it Frank or something?
No, but the main guy that I can't remember what the actor's name is.
Yeah.
Is he a Skarsgård or something like that? I don't remember.
I don't know. He might be.
But anyway, he was he just didn't carry the weight of a villain that I wanted to see. Yeah. And like, even though Brolin didn't really, you got froze again in a really weird position. Oh wait, you're back.
Oh,
but you're kind of kicking in and out. All right. So it is a very, very tough decision for me, but I ended up going with Deadpool 2 as well. Just because it is very watchable. I need action and need it. And this one has action, has a little heart, has a little everything. You know, it's just what Deadpool's all about. Heart, action, love, all of that stuff. Yeah. And it's just tremendous. And the action is top notch. I mean, always. So
yes.
And you get more of that banter, especially with like, between him and Josh Brolin are great. But even with that young kid, and then who I can't remember his name.
Because of you, I'll always know what a grown man with baby balls looks like.
Negasonic Teenage Witch or Negasonic Teenage Warhead or whatever her name is. All of those, they are tremendous. Like all of them together, just so good. And then, so I'm going to go Deadpool 2 as well. All right. So,
can't go wrong.
A couple things came out recently. Want to touch on these before we leave.
Sure.
As we're exiting, we'll put on some outgoing music. Batman trailer. Did you see it?
The Batman trailer, I did.
It looks fucking tremendous.
It does.
I am
great.
Very excited to see this.
Me too.
I think
it's very dark.
Yeah, Colin Farrell as a penguin. Looks really good. I can't wait to see the Riddler. They haven't really showed him.
Weight, or is that like all makeup?
I think it might be all makeup.
Yeah.
But it looked good. He looked tremendous. So good.
Colin Farrell's a good-looking man, but Jesus, they made him look ugly. Yeah. I mean, well done.
Yeah.
Well done from a makeup perspective.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, like I love the grittiness. I love the
Riddler seems legit scary too. Like that does not look like a guy to be trifled with.
Right.
The Riddler.
Yeah.
Like he just,
He's like,
Catwoman.
Mentally.
Catwoman. She's super hot.
Just Zoe Kravitz. Yeah.
Oh, is it Zoe? Yeah.
Yeah.
God, she's hot. She's beautiful.
And then you have just in general, this is really like dark. This is Dark Knight stuff. It looks good. I'm really looking forward to it. I love that. I love that when the Penguin was like, made this huge explosion. He's like, got him. Yeah, and then you see him come through. I was like, yeah, like in a trailer. I'm like, whoa.
That's like very, not cartoonish. That's almost like that seems to me kind of like a throwback to like the Adam West sort of stuff, where like the villains think they've got Batman, and of course here he comes again, and it's just like no.
Yeah, you can't stop him. And then that scene where they're like shooting at him, and it's like all the bullets are bouncing off of him.
Yeah.
And he just comes in there. He's like, wham, wham.
Yeah.
Yes!
And he's like, and you can tell he's angry and violent.
Yeah.
This is real Dark Knight kind of shit.
Yeah. And this is early on, year 2, I think they said was.
Yeah, I think it's going to be curious just to see where this all fits together. If there's anything else, if it's somehow tied into Joaquin Phoenix's Joker universe, which I doubt. But,
doubtful, yeah.
Because it just seems like DC is just kind of going rogue.
They all are kind of intertwined. I mean, because you have Affleck and Keaton are all involved in the Flash movie. And
did you see the Flash trailer?
I have not. No.
So the Flash trailer was cool because there's a lot of Michael Keaton talking.
He's supposed to have a much bigger role than originally anticipated.
Yeah, I think he really does. And I had goosebumps at the end of the trailer because they
I'll have to watch it
show
right after.
from behind Michael Keaton, and you see him with the cowl, but you see the ears, the big pointy
Yeah,
ears,
yeah,
because that's what he had. And and I think like the Flash is like geeking out, and like everyone else watching it is geeking out. Oh my god, dude. I don't know how I will not start crying when I see Michael Keaton in that costume again.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I don't care how fucking old he is.
Yeah.
He's still Batman. He's Batman. Like for me, Christopher Reeves is Superman, and for me, Batman is Michael Keaton, always and forever. So that's gonna be nuts. They better not fucking kill him though. God damn it, they're gonna fucking kill him too. Watch.
I'll be interested to see if he's actually him or his father. Because they have that alternate universe where.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be interested to see which way they take it. I don't know.
Yep.
But
I love like all of this like Flashpoint and multiverse stuff though. It's great.
Yeah, great.
It's you're combining
so much.
It's just
so good.
and this is where DC can. I mean, they're never gonna make up ground on MCU, but like when you start to combine.
They could gain quick though. If they have some big success with some quick movies. There could be a legit debate like, all right, we're going forward. But from what I heard, Shang-Chi is amazing. I hear the Eternals is going to be pretty. Although I did hear that next week Dune is coming out, and I heard that movie is amazing.
Yeah. I'll watch that because it's on
HBO Max.
Yeah, so I'll watch it there.
Yeah. Comes out a day before. It comes out on Wednesday, I think.
The one thing I am curious about, and I'm like so torn as to whether or not I would want them to do this, because you see so much of this CGI stuff now with like where they can just basically bring characters back to life with CGI. I'm struggling with like, do I want to see some multiverse where Christopher Reeve is Superman?
No, you don't.
I do when
you want to see the real guy, not the CG version.
Well, we can never see the real guy again,
right?
But,
that's what I mean.
I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn. I'm torn on that one. I really am, because there's a part of me that would just love to see that again, but
yeah. It'd be tough though.
It'd be tough. It would hurt. It would hurt my heart.
Yeah. All right. So, and then last thing I wanted to touch on was the Squid Games, because that show I wanted to talk about it last week. We didn't have enough time.
Watch it, yeah.
That show is intense.
I heard it's nuts.
Yeah, it is one of those shows I would like. So I wanted to watch it because my son started talking about it. And a bunch of kids at school, he said, we're talking about it. And they're all, so I'm like, all right, I have to get on this and I got to figure out what's going on.
Are they watching it?
Supposedly there's some kids watching it. So I watched it. I've gotten through like 7 or 8 episodes. This show, I said 16 plus. Like there is no way, like if I watch this, it's going to be one episode with Cameron and just to explain to him all the nuances and the subtleties and like, what's actually happening with these people, because like, it's like Hunger Games without the heart, because the heart that they bring into it quickly gets taken away from like gluttony and like, and just, it's all selfishness. So I don't know how it ends. Like, again, I don't know how it ends, but I will finish it. I'll see what happens. But as of right now, there was like in the Hunger Games, you have like the positive role models and you have the people who are trying to fight for the little guy. And this, when you have those guys doing it, they're essentially just doing it selfishly.
Right.
And that's scary. And it's like, I don't want to, I think kids won't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kids won't quite understand. They're gonna be like, oh, everybody's dying. Everybody's dying.
I don't like,
it's very, the premise of, if you find that like, if you love it, I'm like, you're a serial killer. Like, that's what I feel like, like that's it. Like, so it's kind of one of those movies that I'm on one of these shows that I'm just kind of like, oh my God, like it's really well done. The acting in it is tremendous. The storyline is tremendous. It's weird. It's awkward. It's just completely rip your heart out, like, or rip your eyes out, kind of like gore. Like there are some deep, dark things that are talked about. There are some really foul things that are done. And there's some, just the underlying thing about like, taking care of somebody and then having to kill them.
Yeah. That's tough. I don't know.
And not in a Hunger Games way. like,
yeah, right.
It's as brutal.
I know.
And like the emotion that they bring into it is just,
I don't know if I could. It sounds like it's like Sophie's Choice on steroids or something, like having to choose like a life. I don't know. It just
it is, but it builds into that.
Yeah.
So like I would suggest like watching the first episode.
I struggle with stuff like that.
It is tough. It's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But like I have a hard time with horror, but this is like the opposite. This isn't horror. This is suspense thriller.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
So speaking of horror,
I
watched Halloween Kills over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was essentially what I expected. I would give it a Cinebros 6 out of 10.
Ooh.
Which is, I mean, it's not good, it's not great. It's just sort of. I was actually going back.
It did very well at the box office.
I'm sure it did.
50 mil. Beat out Bond.
It beat out Bond, huh? That's impressive.
By double.
Really?
Bond did 23 or 24, and in its second week, and Bond's not doing well.
Well, you know what? This is a great time for Halloween, though. I mean, come on, you're releasing a Halloween movie in mid-October. It's sort of perfect.
Yeah.
In a year where, I mean, and again, people love Michael Myers. He's the greatest. To me, he's the greatest horror character of all time. And I'm not including the Jaws from Shark because I don't consider that to be a horror movie, even though I guess I'm kind of the only one. It's not a horror movie. Jaws is not a horror movie. Sorry. So I'm going to go 6 out of 10 on Halloween Kills. The downfall for Halloween Kills is the script. Oh, some of the dialogue is beyond cheesy.
Really?
I mean, like next level bad. Yeah, like, and just like some of the scenes, like where they're all like, the whole town has basically decided they're going after Michael Myers, and they're all this chanting like "Evil dies tonight," and it's just like, oh, yeah, right. Like I could have gone without that part, I mean, but if you love Michael Myers walking around the neighborhood killing people, hey, then you also are going to be happy.
Yeah.
And
it got 71% for the audience and 39% for critics.
And I'm like kind of middle-ish on that. I'm in the 60. I guess I'm closer to the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the vision that Danny McBride in general had for these movies. I just think that there are some flaws. It got cheesy in parts. And it was just like, again, with the town banding together. And it wasn't just the town banding together. It was just the dialogue of the town. And I hate to say this, too, because I actually like Anthony Michael Hall. He's just not good in this.
Really?
He's kind of like the ringleader of the town. And he comes off, and he's not an untalented actor, but he comes off as one.
That's too bad.
And I think it had a lot to do with the dialogue, which I was just, again, not. Now, listen, you don't watch Halloween movies for the dialogue. You watch them to see Michael Myers stalk babysitters and kill teenagers, and to do it in really gruesome ways. Right. Check. Mission accomplished there, without a doubt. But if you're going to choose to fill in the gap with some of this other stuff, you got to do better at it. Mm-hmm. It just was cheesy. Also, not to blow it here, but the main protagonist, of course, in all the Halloween movies is who? Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Mm-hmm. Laurie Strode. She says she spends 90% of this movie in the hospital. If not more than that.
That sucks when they do that.
So what they're doing is you're setting up for the finale, which is of course Halloween Ends. But hey, listen, if you wanna just free your mind, watch a horror movie and watch Michael Myers kill a bunch of people, then you'll enjoy it.
Seems more like a Jason movie than Michael Myers.
The only other thing I sort of, even though I hate Halloween, I don't think I know anybody who likes Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. It's just a terrible movie. Plus it has like nothing to do at all with Michael Myers. But there was an actual little brief kind of like homage to it, which I thought was kind of funny, because there's this one like group of kids. They're all kind of like assholes too. They're all these like punk like young teenage kids. I think it's like one girl and 2 boys. And in the scene, they're wearing not identical masks to the 3 masks that are featured in Halloween 3, but they're close enough. Which one is a jack-o'-lantern, one's a skull, one's a witch mask. And these 3 kids are wearing like those masks. So I was like, that's a definite nod to Halloween 3, which I thought was funny. But again, Halloween 3 is just a fucking horrible movie. But I still thought it was kind of funny just to tie in some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean Jamie Lee Curtis is great, and she brings the great sense of urgency from Laurie Strode that you want, but Most of the other dialogue is just not so good. They could have just really done without like the town becoming this mob thing. I mean, there's a cool scene towards the end though with the mob and Michael Myers, but beyond that,
just not very good.
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's
the
okay.
dialogue.
Yeah.
But again, 6 out of 10, so not horrible. I would suggest seeing it.
All right.
It's what you were probably hoping for the most part from a Halloween movie.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for our show. We will see you guys again next Monday, and ran a little bit later than wanted to today, but hey, you get what you get. You don't get upset. We'll
Rest
see you.
in peace, Colin Powell.
Yeah, that's
80.
very sad to hear. Little
I mean,
complications with COVID, and he was fully vaxxed. He was 84, but
he was 80. Yeah, an older guy. I mean,
that just says be careful.
it's just yeah.
Be careful out there.
Hey, I don't. Whatever. I'm still double masking everywhere I go. If I go anywhere.
Yeah.
If I go inside anywhere, it's with 2 masks on.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. But all right, thank you guys for watching, listening. We'll see you again next Monday. You can find us on Twitter at Shane and Bryman. You can find me on Twitter at Einhornersfinkel.
Find me on Twitter at _Brian_man. We've reached the end of the show, and to quote the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. But we'll be back next week, and better than ever. Maybe. Probably shouldn't promise that.
Well, hopefully less freezy and glitchy.
Yeah, less freezy. I'll have to reset because the last episode was good, and then this episode was not. So I need to reboot.
Keep
again.
shutting your computer down.
Yeah, which I'm not good at, but whatever.
All right, we'll see you
Stay
guys.
classy, Planet Club.
Peace out.
Bye.
Subscribe, smash it, hit the like button, smash it, hit the notification bell, tap it.
Tap it, flip it, rub it down.
Oh no.
All those inappropriate things.